What's coming out of my mouth tonight is basically from the heart. I made a few keynotes, but before I start, I want to really wish you all a very happy New Year as well.
Happy New Year.
And I really hope it is going to be a happy one, because there is hell of a lot of doom and gloom in the pipelines, as far as has been announced already on the news. And that is like housing reforms, benefit reforms, pension reforms, you name it, it's all reforms. The worst one that I'm really worried about, and a lot of people are worried about, is the scandal with that Jimmy Savile affair. And it's no wonder, because really we've had for years people complaining that they have been groomed, you know, young girls, and they have been totally ignored, as came to light in the case of Rochdale. Recently there's also come a case to light in Oxford where 9 Muslim men have also groomed and sexually assaulted girls and burned them and threatened them to kill their parents, basically, if they didn't oblige to their wills and all this lot. And very, very recently, much to my horror, it has actually been published in the papers today. It's being brought before the House of Commons that there is a massive paedophile ring in government, to say the least. I mean, I'm absolutely disgusted. I have heard in the past of personal experience of a girl being abused while she was in care. These are very vulnerable people, you know, whether they're children or not, they are human beings. And for them to go through life having to experience stuff like that is totally disgusting. And with all these facts coming to light, which incidentally, if you have a computer, if you go onto the Bolton blog, the Bolton Patriot, you find all the stories there, there's names and everything there. It's utterly disgusting, it really is. Speaking especially to the older generation, pensioners and stuff, and I've got a few personal friends of mine there, and they are up in arms. They are up in arms. That generation has been through the Second World War. That generation has been through not being able to get enough food to feed their families. They had to make do with all the rationings and stuff what they had to go through. And I can appreciate that this was an extremely hard way of life. And our generation, maybe sort of in the 60s when I was young, you grow up and you take hell of a lot for granted, to be quite honest. And that is just normal because you are young, you live life, and you enjoy life. And it's only later in life when you start thinking what has been happening to past generations, and you start thinking, how will I be when I get to that age, you know? And that's when you start thinking about how things have been in the past. But what we should be all doing, no matter what age we are, whether we are really, really young or even old, especially our generation, we need to be thinking and talking, most of all, about what is lying ahead for our future generation. Now, with all this grooming that is going on, sort of having had a bit of a look into this, for Muslims it's actually alright to have a sex slave, or 2, or 3, or 5, or more, it doesn't matter. Because as long as they get their satisfaction, that is all they're bothered about. Women count for nothing. We are infidels. We are even below the pigs, and and we know what their attitude is for pigs. So if at the end of the day England doesn't wake up and start fighting back, which it looks like to be the case, in about 20 years' time, or maybe say 30 at the most, that is it. And it really needs to be thought about. And it's not like people say to me, oh well, you're brainwashed into thinking that. No, I'm not. This is fact. It's coming to light on a daily basis. It never stops. I mean, apart from these 9 guys in Oxford, the most worrying case of all I've recently come across actually is one of a predatory Muslim paedophile who has had convictions in the past. He's abducted a 6-year-old girl, shoved it into the car and, you know, did his wicked ways and all this lot. And he's only let that little girl out because she demanded to go to the toilet. And she ran away. And apparently she was found sobbing on the roadside, sitting on the curb. Now, how many people actually see a little child sitting on the curb, sobbing their little heart out, and walk past? How many times do we see somebody in distress and we actually walk past and think, oh, well, somebody else will deal with this? Well, it's come to light that she has been sexually abused and she ran away from her abuser. He also tried to kidnap 2 12-year-old girls also. Not quite sure what happened to them, but the most disturbing fact of this is that he has been locked up indefinitely, which is good. That's not disturbing. Apparently, he's got to serve 2.5 years before he can actually have his first parole listened to see if he can get it or not. But 10 days after this man got sentenced, the law was abolished for locking those kind of people up. Right, let that go through your brains. That man was one of the last people to be locked up for such crimes. What's going to happen to the future people who are in court being convicted? They are simply going to get their hands slapped. And I look upon it this way. It is yet again a nice, wide, opening door for these paedophiles to get their merry ways and another step towards us being took over. You need to take this on board, ladies and gentlemen, and the people who actually see this on YouTube or wherever they see this film. You need to wake up. You need to take that on board, and it's nothing to do with brainwashing. It is fact, and it needs to be fought against. It's like Lord of the Rings. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lord of the Rings real life. It's as simple as that. That is the dark cloud that is going to befall all over. That is the evil power that is coming all over us. And that's no messing around. It's happening as we speak. Well, the Labour Party in London is going to get a kick up their backsides and all. Because as well as we know, these Muslims have put in for a super mosque of holding many thousands of people. I mean, the building site that has been planned is like the size of the Olympic Stadium or something to that degree. It's huge. It's a super mosque. It holds thousands of people. Guess what? The application has been rejected. Hooray! Yeah, but, this comes the but. They got angry because they got rejected. Guess what's down there in London? It's the Respect Party, run by George Galloway, right? Well, he's converted to Muslim a long time ago, so he's in the same boat as them. He's enjoying life. He's a man. He's enjoying his life like all the Muslims are doing. But he's the leader of the Respect Party. And all the Labour government, or all the Labour people, are now a little bit, or should be, a little bit worried, because they have been told, wait, now that we have been rejected, we are going to get angry. And you don't know what us being angry means, because we are going to reject the Labour Party, and there is enough of us to move over to the Respect Party. And once we are in the Respect Party and we got the majority, we will take over. The Chuck Malik said, in about 20-25 years' time, I can see the Muslim flag flying over Downing Street. Well, as soon as that happens, ladies and gentlemen, we are dead. It's as simple as that. We are white, we class below pigs in their estimations, and the fact is we will be tortured, we will be beheaded, and we will suffer a slow death because they hate us. It's as simple as that. There is already in London a Muslim patrol. This is a Muslim area. I've seen it on YouTube. They've put the film up on YouTube. I don't know who else has seen it, but it is on the blog. It is on the Bolton Patriot, right? There's a woman walking home with her friend. She's being stopped. You can't walk past here dressed like this. This is Muslim-only area. You can't go here. Go away. Don't come back again. Another one. You can't walk past this mosque dressed like that. Go away, you don't belong into this area. And this woman says, but this is Great Britain. Guess what the reply was? Not Great Britain no more. Why? Because they're dead right. It is not Great Britain no more, up until Great Britain wakes up. And it is high time that we do. It is absolutely necessary. You've got all these youngsters, they call themselves scroats, and you know, they're high on whatever they can get high on. They don't have a care in the world. It is those people that we need to reach. It is those people and the generation before that has been utterly, successfully brainwashed because they don't give a toss. It's as simple as that. And those people need to be waking up, they need to be put in the picture. But the government, even though they say, oh, well, we are anti-drugs and we don't like this and that, but they do like those people being quiet at the end of the day, because they just sit there, they don't do naught. They were even smiling and laughing in the house, in government, as they were slashing benefits. You know, as they were like saying, oh, well, you can only have 1% increase. They were killing themselves laughing about it, you know. But these youngsters, they just thought, oh, well, I'm blotter, I don't give a toss. Well, it's those people that we need to reach, because it's their children that are going to get the brunt of what is going to come. You know, it is absolutely necessary. The elderly people, they're saying to me, we paid our taxes all our lives. We have never claimed for anything, even if we were entitled to. You know, we have done for the country as much as we could. And what are they getting as a thank you? A jolly good kick in the teeth. That's what they're getting. Same as the soldiers. They're putting their lives on the line. Some are coming back, you know, one arm, and that's it, and they have no legs and no, oh, well, you're fit to work. It's despicable how these people get treated. They want somewhere to live. Oh, well, you're at the bottom of the housing list. You know, you're the wrong colour, mate, at the end of the day. That is what it is. And I'm not racist. It has nothing to do with being I'm not against any colour. People to me, they can be green, purple with blue spots, as long as they're friendly to me, as long as they are law-abiding people in this country, fine. But at the end of the day, these people haven't got our country at interest. The only interest they have is to turn this country into one of theirs. And that is what we are against. And they are trying to wipe us out. Do you realize there's only 8% of white people in the whole world? That's nothing, really. Nothing at all. And yet they want to wipe us out. Why? Because, you know, and it's not on. We have really got to stand up for what we believe in. We have really got to stand up for something that is ours. And at the end of the day, I mean, okay, I've come over from Europe, so fair dues. But you guys who live here in this country, generations of you have gone back to 15,000 years. You have been on this island, your ancestors have been on this island since just round about after the Ice Age. That's known fact. And yet you're being told you're not indigenous. Come on. How more indigenous do you want to be? You know, and it's time that the British people, the English people, the Welsh people, the Scottish people, everybody is thinking about, hang on a minute, this is my country. We need to stand up for our country like our generation before us in the Second World War. But no, it's not happening, is it? Because all the nationalists, what do? They bicker among each other. I'm better than what you are. That's not right. The Muslims are killing themselves laughing because at the end of the day, you bend one hair of one Muslim and they're all in on you. Every single one of them. And they stick together like mud. And honestly, England and all the people, they should be taking an example of just that fact, that these people are sticking together. And we need to take an example of that, and we need to stick together, the same. Because if we don't, we never get anywhere. Because at the end of the day, we can just sit and talk. We can be angry and talk. We can shout our heads off. We can go to meetings. We can listen to speakers. But at the end of the day, if we go home and there's nothing we can do and nothing that can be done, and we're not bothered about who is doing what and where and things like that, that's it. You know, we can do this till the cows come home, but nothing is happening until we get off our backsides and do something. You need to speak to, and I know it's hard because, believe you me, I do try, my husband tries. You need to speak to friends, to family, to everybody that will listen, and you need to put them into the picture. You know, we need this to be done because otherwise we don't stand a chance. None whatsoever. Let me just see. Well, coming back to this Muslim patrol, these people that were stopped, on which I've seen on YouTube, they were totally stunned. They were just absolutely, I mean, gobsmacked is the English term, isn't it? Gobsmacked. They didn't know what to say. There was somebody that had a can in their hands and were drinking. Oh, you can't come into our area, you're drinking. They had the drinks taken off him and got turned away as well. And then, to top it all, they filmed an accident. I don't know whereabouts in which area, but it must have been near. And they were saying on camera, well, this accident has happened because people were drunk. But on research, it shows that accident had absolutely nothing to do with alcohol. It was just an accident, you know. And they're twisting it to, oh, well, it's because you're drunk. When these people take over, right, because it's not an if anymore, it's definitely a when, until we get off our backsides and make it an if again, right? Do you all enjoy listening to music? Who enjoys listening to music? Yeah. Forget that, band, right? Who as girls likes wearing jeans? Yeah. Band, all together. Can't wear t-shirts, right? Who enjoys having a mobile phone as girls? Yeah. Girls who enjoys, yeah. Band, you can't have one. You certainly can't have one outside in the street. So, if somebody wants to have their wicked way with you, which is happening in India right now, because in India girls are being banned from wearing jeans, t-shirts, and having a mobile phone in public. And it's been on the news that Indian girls are getting raped over in India as well. Well, they're not allowed a mobile phone, apparently, because if they wanted to ring for help while something is nasty is going on, they can't. And the same is happening here, right? What freedom, just think about, especially women, because the fellas are all right, really, right? And if they convert to being a Muslim, the fellas will be fine. The fellas will have the life of Riley. As simple as that. You can have sex slaves, you can have 4 wives, and all this malarkey, right? But the women, right? Do we enjoy going dancing? Yeah. Forget that. Can't do it no more. You can't even go shopping unless you're accompanied by a fella. And you got to walk behind the fella as well. This is what's coming. In no uncertain terms, this is what's coming. This is their rule. Look it up. And the Quran says it's all right to do so. Now, I was listening once upon a time, a long, long time ago. I seen this film, and they were saying, our women are the most beautiful women in the whole wide world, and they should be treasured. And the next picture was a woman with her nose cut off. Why? Because she dared look at another fella. It's as simple as that. Somebody was answering the door to a pizza man. She had acid thrown in her face. She was totally disfigured after the wounds had healed. What agony are these people going through? This is what's coming to us. This is what's coming to our grandchildren, definitely. You know, this is what's coming to our little girls.
This is what our politicians have done to us.
And exactly, and are still doing. And the only way to do something about it is by standing for elections. But there is less and less of us. So how are we going to do this? We've got to stick our heads together, and we've got to start doing something. And the way to start is by standing in elections. I'm the only one in Bolton who stands. The only one in Bolton. And I was a paper candidate last time only. My votes last year have actually dropped by 30 people. Why? Because they might have moved away or whatever, I don't know. But because of the low turnout, I've actually upped my percentage from 6.9% to 10%. You know, even though I lost 30 people. You know, so it is so important. We need to tell our people, listen, you have got to go and vote. You must not just lose it and kick it in the bin and whatever. You've got to vote. And you got to vote for the right party. And the right party is definitely not the Labour Party, because they opened the door And they opened the door to all these people to give us lot a jolly good kick in the teeth. Well, they have succeeded, you know. You can't vote Conservative. Every big party that is being voted in is gonna lose us this country. And the only party to vote for is this one here, the British National Party, because the British National Party only has the interest of the British people at heart. Look at the Sikhs. They are starting to attack the Muslims. They are fighting back. They are standing together. They are saying, you are not abusing our girls anymore. We are not standing for this. What are we doing? You know, what are we doing? And it's not right. It seriously isn't right. I leave that one, and you need to digest that one, and you really seriously need to take that one on board, because this is a deadly, deadly serious matter. And we have to do right by our previous generation. We have to fight back, because they can't anymore. They're in their 80s. You know, they are getting a kick in the teeth. They're having the heating bill slashed in the winter and stuff like that. You know, we need to seriously fight back. And I please urge you to do so with all my heart. Thank you very much.